Hi, welcome to Raise Sensation. I'm your host, Dan. And in today's episode, I'm going to be looking at a stop motion animation fanzine called Close Up. This is number 1. It's from 1975. Now, when I was younger, I was interested in so many things and didn't really have that much money to spend. And so, I didn't often mail away for things. And I didn't really try and track down things that I was really looking for at the time because there was always something else to spend my money on. I was interested in, just there were so many things going on. I used to read men's adventure paperbacks and, so I needed some money to buy those and monster mags, horror comics, just so many things I was interested in. So, I rarely sent away for stuff because why send for something? But I saw an ad, and I can't remember now if it was in Castle of Frankenstein or Famous Monsters or if it was another fanzine. Anyway, I saw an ad for this. I mailed off for it. And I was, quite frankly, pretty delighted. Now, I don't remember exactly what's in this issue because it has probably been, 15 years or so since I last flipped through this. It's just been sitting there in storage. And, the main reason I'm doing this channel is because my memory is not what it used to be. So, I'm looking forward to flipping through this. I didn't before I decided to shoot this. So, hopefully that'll help with my enthusiasm level for this. So, Golden Voyage of Sinbad is covered in this issue. Flesh Gordon, which, I was lucky enough to see at a midnight showing. And I really thought the stop motion was really pretty fun in that movie. And Land of the Lost, a kid's show that some of you might remember. There was a remake of it that I guess had digital dinosaurs. I didn't watch the remake. I imagine that might be what more of you, but this was a kid's show. It had weird, kind of trippy, actual science fiction stories in some episodes. Some episodes were written like they were meant for kids, but other ones were, trying to do some real science fiction. But it had stop motion dinosaurs, so I was definitely watching it because of that. Even though they repeated some of the same shots over and over, they also used puppets for close-ups, so you'd see a big puppet mouth, roaring into the camera, things like that. But anyway, here we go. This is the cover is for Golden Voyage of Sinbad. 1975. This is pretty cool stuff. When I saw Golden Voyage of Sinbad in the theater, I was a little, disappointed. I wasn't really blown away as much by the monsters as I thought I might be. Not that they're not good, but I don't know. You keep thinking, I was getting older. By the time they come out, I was a teen, as opposed to the kid I had been when I saw Seventh Voyage of Sinbad. So, but nevertheless, I went and saw it several times in the theater. So here's just a collection of photographs of the models. Then there's an examination of, they try and dissect how they believe Harryhausen did some of the effects for it. They might not have officially known. It seemed like they were pretty spot on at the time. And they talk about which parts were, they dare critique the flow of his animation and stuff too. These drawings were always pretty cool. His pre-production drawings. Some really, really fun stuff there. Wow. Creatures. So this guy wrote an article about where these creatures, the real creatures that they're kind of doing, where they fit in mythology, and how the myths about them related to what was in the film. And there's an article about the score. There it is, comparing it to the Seventh Voyage. Now, of course, the Seventh Voyage was one of the most influential films for me. I had seen a reissue of it. I wasn't big enough. I didn't see the original release of it, but luckily this was reissued to theaters, and I got to see that, and it's just fantastic. And there's this guy. There's a fan project. This guy creates his own model of the centaur, and now here he is drawing it of Kali and the ship's head, the masthead. So I mean, this was a really great fanzine at the time. You know, I mean, some of these articles could have easily been in any of the. Of course, I mean, there weren't that many of the real magazines like Castle of Frankenstein and Famous Monsters, so you know, not much of a. And here, yeah, this was cool. You know, this is this 5-part comic strip serialization of the Seventh Voyage that was released in newspapers. That definitely didn't run for the reissue, and I wasn't around for 1958. So, and then here's covers of the different Sinbad. The Golden Voyage got a 2-issue. I had that. I had that at 1.2. Unfortunately, I don't have any of those comics right now anymore. I had that as a kid, that book. So good stuff there. Then there's and there's some of the pre-production drawings for the Seventh Voyage. Flesh Gordon gets a little shout out. It was a sex movie, you know, a comedy, a spoof, as you would. I don't know that much of it is actually very funny or very sexy, but what little stop motion there is in it is pretty cool. You know, the Great God Porno. And here's a little bit about the Land of the Lost and Hua Chang, who went on to do a lot of great work for special effects. And it shows him with his armatures. There's a horned dinosaur body that you could switch out the head plates, and voila, a different dinosaur. There's some the ridiculous little missing link cave boy type thing. So anyway, and there's another one from Flash Gordon. So that's that fanzine from 1975, a Ray Harryhausen fanzine. I hope you enjoyed looking at that. I don't know if this is very collectible or not. Might be, just because you know, it's Ray Harryhausen, but it was a lot of fun at the time. I still think it's pretty cool. And like I said, I hadn't looked at this, and I hadn't run across it, opened this box in well over a decade. So it's fun to see it again.